Hello everyone, this is Moehawkman, and today I am testing out all free-to-play dragons and seeing what loot I get. So in the first little test, I did green dragons. You can find them in level 12 to 13 wilderness, but you can find them further. But I only went here because you can teleport. Now this method can earn you anywhere between 300k and 550k. You could probably make a little bit more because I didn't realize this, but there is a bank around 5 wilderness levels up next to the bandit area to the left of it, and there's a roaming guy with a backpack and you can bank with him as long as you are not in combat. So the fastest way to kill these things is using bolts because that is their overall weakness. I was using Ruinite bolts and Ruinite crossbow with an anti-dragon shield. Now I personally recommend the shield because if you don't use it, the fire attack can do around 11 to 1600 damage depending on RNG. So, it might be a good thing unless you just can kill it really quickly without the shield. Now, you can use melee to kill these things, but I would not recommend it just because it's a slower kill rate and you get less money if you do that. And one last thing I would say is you need to bring a teleport with you just in case you do get attacked and you don't think you can actually outrun the other player. Luckily, green dragons are only single combat, so you don't have to worry about getting teamed on unless they kill all the dragons around you and they just force you to fight them. Now this is the reason why I chose to do this in the level 12 to 13 wilderness, because not a lot of players can really attack me, and even if they do attack me, they can only do it within a certain range, and I can literally just run away from them or teleport out if I really needed to. Now when it comes to the loot, green dragons are okay because green d'hide and d bones sell for around 1950 each depending on the day, and the salvage loot isn't bad either. So I would recommend you keep the salvage and try selling it on the GE because some of the salvage sells for much higher than their actual alching price. Now don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure members disassemble this so that way they can get other parts that they need to increase their invention level, because alching some of the salvage is just not worth it. Some of it only gives you like 720 GP or like 1000, which is complete garbage for the monster itself because you are risking more just by going into the wilderness to kill them. Now the next dragon you can kill, which is much more profitable, is blue dragons, and you can only find them between level 34 and level 38 wilderness near the lava maze area. Now you're going to see in this clip that I'm not actually wearing any armor except for the dragon shield. Now I did this for two reasons. One, I didn't want to risk any more than I needed to, and two is the dragons can't actually do that much damage to me, so it didn't really matter if I wore armor or not. Now if you are a lower level and you want to have some protection, I would just bring green d'hide because it's much cheaper and there's almost no difference in actual defense level between green d'hide and blue d'hide. Now another thing to note while you're doing this is this area is actually multi-combat, so you can get attacked by a team if they just happen to show up. Now if you happen to have a teleport on you, you can actually run into the King Black Dragon lair, and then you can use your teleport to get out if you really need to. And right next to that gated entrance, there's actually a banking guy, so you can just run back and forth between the blue dragons and the banking guy to go and get new supplies if you need to. And just like green dragons, blue dragons are also weak to bolts, so if you want to speed your kill, use bolts and a crossbow with a dragon shield. This method can just maximize how many dragons you can kill per hour. Now when it comes to overall loot, these dragons are much better than greens just because higher drop rates, and the value of each drop is just higher overall. Because blue d'hides sell for around 3k each, and the bones sell for 1.9, so each blue dragon kill, just from d'hide and bones alone, can be worth almost 5k each. Now if you do get salvage, you better keep it because some of it can be worth as much as 10k each, depending on which one it is. So based on those numbers alone, you can get anywhere between 600k an hour to 1.1 mil an hour if the RNG gods have blessed you with good loot, and your kill rate is pretty high. Now I average 2 to 3 kills per minute, but that's only because I have 99 range and I'm using the best equipment. If you are not using the best stuff, you might get 1 to 2 kills per minute, which is why I lowballed the estimates, because I was able to make 536k in 32 to 33 minutes doing this method. Now you might be able to manage that yourself if you click properly and collect properly, but every single person who does this may have different numbers themselves. Now let's move on to red dragons, which can earn you around 500 to 700k an hour. The reason for this is because the bank is much further away, so you have to run much further just to put away all your bones and all the stuff that you get from drops. Now the combat setup is exactly the same as green and blue dragons. You want a crossbow, you want bolts, you want the dragon shield to protect you from the fire, and then you just sit here non-stop until you leave. Now you can find these dragons at Red Dragon Isle, which is in between 38 and 40 wilderness, and the closest bank, once you go through the gate, is you keep running east past the demons and the burnt bones, and that is where you will find the closest bank possible. Now I do recommend that you utilize Surge, which is the magic ability to let you dash 10 tiles in one direction, and resting in between your runs because you do end up running out of energy and you'll end up just walking. This can turn out really bad for you because most of the area is actually multi-combat, so if you are a lower level and you see higher levels, chances are you're going to die from this. Because the bank east of the burnt bones, you cannot actually enter that if you are in combat. So your only bet is to either kill the other player or run far south until they can no longer attack you. But you still need to go north to get out of the metal gate, and then run south, which will end up using quite a bit of your run energy, and you'll probably die regardless. Which is why I will not recommend anyone coming here, because blue dragon hides are worth like 200 GP less than red dragon hides, and they take slightly longer to kill. Along with the fact that the bank is much further away, you'll just make a lot less GP per hour killing red dragons than you would with blue dragons. Now for one final note of advice, do not bring anything into the wilderness that you are not willing to die with. Meaning, if you don't want to bring extra armor, or if you don't want to bring like higher grade weapons or bolts or anything, don't bring them in here, because chances are you might get killed, especially at blue dragons and red dragons, because the level cap to attack someone is much higher and escaping is nearly impossible in multi-combat. Now the last free-to-play dragon you can kill is the King Black Dragon, and I would not recommend anyone doing this because you only can make between 100k and 200k per hour, depending on how fast your kill rate is. Now for me, I only managed to kill 8 in around half an hour, and the D-hides themselves are only worth around 3.6 to 3.7k, which is not that much higher than blue D-hide, and since your kill rate is much slower, the overall profit per kill is less, unless you have really good RNG and you're getting Rune salvage that's worth 40k each when you alch it. This is the main reason why I do not recommend coming here to kill this, unless you have a team and you're killing it within like 20 to 30 seconds. Now, if you really want to come here though, there are two ways to do this. The first way to come here is through Edgeville. There is this little tiny artifact rock thing northwest of the lodestone. And the second way to come here is through the lava maze ladder, which is in the same area where you were killing blue dragons. And you're going to end up using the same bank that you were using for the blue dragons too. Now, if you do come through the wilderness, you do get a 10% damage boost when fighting King Black Dragon, rather than if you went through Edgeville and did not get the boost at all. You can essentially just come here, bank, and not carry anything or risk anything coming all the way out here. So going through the wilderness is just the better idea, because you just get the damage boost, which can help speed up your kills if you end up doing this method. Now, I definitely would not recommend soloing it like I did. You should definitely bring a team with you just to speed up your kills and potentially increase your overall GP per hour. This also helps you saving food, because if one person is getting attacked, the other people don't use their food, which means they can keep their adrenaline higher, so they can just focus on doing DPS. Now, I would not recommend using my build because that is more of a defensive build than an offensive build, and if you want to go for higher kill count, you need to just focus on doing more damage rather than playing a defensive role like I did. But everyone has their own play style, so if you want to do more base damage versus just shielding yourself and protecting yourself, that is entirely up to you. Anyways guys, that's all for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will come out with another one soon. Thanks for watching. This has been Moehawkman. Peace out everybody.